Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments, and I just wanted to bring you a quick tip to help making mats easier, faster, and more fun for you. If you haven't seen this before, then this will be new, and hopefully it will make your life a little easier, like I said. This does involve just a little bit of math, and so let me just show you very briefly how it can be done, all right? So we're using a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock, okay? That means that anything that we cut from right to left is going to need to add up to be 12 or less, all right? So if we want to make a common size that we might want to make would be a 5 by 7 inch frame, all right? So if you add 5 and 7 together, they equal 12. So that works great. Let's see if we wanted to add together maybe a 4.5 by 6.5 mat, right? 4.5 and 6.5 equal 11. So under 12, so it works. If we wanted to make frames that are, let's see, what's kind of another standard size we use? We could do a 4.25 by 4.25 by 6, maybe still by 6.5. Let's see what that would end up being. So that's just 1/4 of an inch less, so it would be 10.75 if we add those two together. Now let me show you why that's important. Or actually, let's do one more. Let's do a 4 by 5 mat also. Okay, so whatever this end number is out here, that's the size square you need to start with to make this magic mat work. And I'm going to show you very briefly how it's done. I'm going to use this orange cardstock because for some reason I just have a ton of orange cardstock, and it will show up really well on my green paper, my green mat. So let's just do the 5 by 7 mat first. And just so you can see more easily, I'm going to bring my foot out so that you can see the full measurement, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to slide our paper in, and we're going to put our left margin at the 5 mark, okay? And then we're going to close our arm. Now you're going to want to note these numbers here on the side of our arm, and you're going to want to note where the 7 is, okay? It's important to know that your trimmer has this white mark. Should have told you this before we started, but let's go over it now. So you have this white mark on the side of your blade housing that tells you approximately where your blade is coming in contact with your page. I made an additional black mark that's about 1/4 of an inch beyond, because since this is a rotating blade, often if you're pushing hard enough, that blade could be cutting that much farther. So you just need to kind of be aware of that. Depending on if an overcut is going to cause you, angst or not. Also, it's important to know that that white line that's on the side here is not approximately, it's 1 inch from either side of your blade housing. So it's in the very center of this, and this is 2 inches wide from top to bottom. All right, that means that when we're trying to make a cut at 7 inches, the edge of our housing needs to be at 8 inches. I hope that makes sense. So that your cut will start at 7. So you push down and move forward. all right? So you'll notice that our cut doesn't go all the way through the paper. That's on purpose. We're going to rotate our paper counterclockwise 1 turn. Bring our paper back again to the 5 inches mark. Close our arm. Come down here to the 8-inch mark for the edge of our housing. And roll forward. All right. And we're going to turn it again, our paper. Bring it back through. Put it to the 5-inch mark. This edge is on the 5. Bring this down. If it makes you more happy, you can just use this cut edge to judge where to put that white line for your cut. And we're going to turn it one more time. By this time your paper may be trying to fall apart, which is okay. We're going to use our upper bumper and put this left margin again at the 5 and bring it down. And we should have 4 5x7. This one I got just a little bit still attached. 4 5x7 mats and 1 square left over that is 2x2. All right. Now let's do that again, only let's do that with our 4.5 by 6.5 mats. All right, so we're going to get our orange piece of paper. Now, I said we need a square that is the same size as the total of the measurement. So that means we need an 11-inch square. So I've got a 12 by 12 piece of paper. So I'm going to cut 1 inch off this way to make it 11 inches across here. Then I'm going to turn it horizontally. I'm going to cut another inch off. And now I have an 11-inch square. So now I can take my paper and measure 4.5 inches. I can come up here to 6.5 inches, which is right here, and make a cut, turn it, measure 4.5 inches. Again, come down here to where I cut, make another cut, turn it, there's number 2, turn it, 4.5, number 3, and number 4, and our 2-inch square. All right, does that make sense? Let's do one more or 2 more. Let's see. So we've got 4.25 by 6.5, and they total 10 3/4. Actually, let's do the 4 and 5 first, because the 10 3/4 is a little bit. I've actually never cut one quite that size before, so that'll be a little bit more of an experiment. So we've got, oh, let's see. At 9 inches, we are 3 inches shy of 12, right? So we need to cut 3 inches off to make a 9-inch square to start with. So I'm going to cut 3 inches off of this side. Then I'm going to turn my paper, and I'm going to cut another 3 inches off of this side. And then we're going to go ahead and measure 4 inches. And we're going to come up here and start at 5. Then we're going to turn this. We're going to measure 4 inches. Come up here and start at 5. There's 1. Turn it. 4 inches. There's 2. Turn it 4 inches. There's 3 and 4. All right. Let's set that up there. All right, so let's try this one. That was a little bit out of the ballpark. And so at 10 3/4, we need to take 1 1/4 inches off in order to make a square. So we're going to take 1 1/4 inches off. This is going to be the test to make sure that this works for everything, because I actually haven't done this one before. So, and then another 1 1/4 inches off to make a square. All right, so then we need to measure 4 1/4, 4 1/4. All right, and 6 1/2. So 6 1/2 is down here. Okay, turn it. 4 1/4. And 6 1/2, there's 1. 4 1/4, 6 1/2, 4 1/4, 6 1/2, and there's number 4. And we end up with slightly more. This is a 2 1/4 inch square left over. This is not my trick. I didn't come up with this, but I was taught it years ago, and I just thought that the person who created it was just amazing, because if you just tried to cut a 5x7 frame out of a 12x12 piece of paper the normal way, just by cutting it at 7 and then cutting it at 5, you would only get 2 frames out of a 12x12 piece of paper. But this way you can utilize more of your good cardstock and get at least 4 frames out of 1 piece of paper, and then some. As you can see, I have lots of extra over here that from trimming up my 12x12s to make a square. All right, I hope that this has helped give you some insight and a cool new trick to try when you're making mats for your pages. It is really fun to learn new things and to find new ways of making this fun hobby even easier, and I hope to share more of them with you in the future. Thanks so much, and in the meantime, I wish you a great afternoon and many more creative moments. Have a great day.